Hello everybody. It is supposed to be Make It Monday tonight. I'm here, I'm out of breath, having to just have run up and down the stairs trying to grab my phone. So, just as anticipated today, I tried to go live using the normal method I like to use, and lo and behold, all my options to go live in my Facebook private groups are gone. So that is true. It did all disappear. So now we're working on trying to figure out alternate ways. Hey, Cheryl. Hi, Deborah. So this is really interesting in the fact that I tried to go on my laptop. Hey, Sue. And do a live directly from my laptop so that I could still use my alternate camera. My laptop does not let me go live, just my cell phone does. So this is another interesting piece. Although am I surprised? I don't think so, because I remember back in the day when we were trying to fuss with all of this stuff, that is what happened. Like, I couldn't figure it out, how to do it on my computer. That's the reason why the Zoom came into play. So I'm anxious to see what Facebook ends up doing to help bring you guys into the fold so that we can kind of chat, but that I can also share with you information. Well, I still can. It just means it's all from my phone, meaning I'm going to have to tilt my phone down. So I don't think it's going to be the best viewing capability, but we'll find out. Hey, Sue. Okay. So this is, like I said, totally interesting. Not too sure where it's gonna go. There is some updates that I wanted to give you guys because a little birdie told me, and I just wanted to share with you that there's gonna be a clearance rack refresh tomorrow. So go and take a peek. Who knows what will be there? I was gonna try and stay up till midnight to see, but I don't think I will tonight because I'm feeling a little under the weather, so we'll definitely get some rest tonight. Now, I was hoping to make a card. Hey, Sherry, welcome. Today, I was pulling out all the wonderful pieces that go with the Flowering Zinnia collection. I think I've shared this paper collection with you before. All the kind of like bright flowers and different things. I haven't played with it yet, so I was really hoping to do some sort of one sheet wonder with this particular piece. But like I said, I don't know, this is all weird now. Did I say hi to you, Sherry? Look at that. I can't even remember who I say hi to anymore. So yeah, we've discovered that this whole going live into the Facebook group from other means is not going to work. I'll still test it Saturday with Zoom, but I think it'll be the same thing just because we've all heard it's coming. Simply Zinnia, that's what I started to talk about. This is the stamp set that goes with it. I know a lot of you have ordered this bundle. I literally just finally got all the pieces to play with it, including the dies and the embossing folder. Now, this is something that's not in the catalog. It is an online exclusive. But I think it's such a fun collection for Mother's Day projects, summer garden stuff. Let's see if you can see what that looks like. Okay, just wait. I stuck my silicone mat in it just to try and give it some darker color so you can see what that texture looks like. Who has this already? I'm sure most of you probably ordered that collection. But something that I noticed is inside the stamp collection, which is absolutely gorgeous. There's thank you and gratitude. And then sending flowers and thinking of you is what that big long word says. But of course you can break that up into little pieces. And yeah, so I love it, except this month I'm still all stuck on birthdays. And in fact, the card I wanted to make is for one of our stamping friends whose birthday I missed yet again, which is most of you, but I'm hoping to make a bunch of birthday cards as a one sheet wonder using this piece. So I pulled out the Throughout the Year stamp set, which is another online exclusive that has all kinds of great words. And I had this pulled out for Easter, but now check out that birthday one, Happiest of Birthdays. And I just feel like it's a really fun font, like it's both print and some fun print. But I think it goes well with that brights, you know, those bright flowers. So I thought I would check it out and see what we can make with that. Sounds like a plan? Hey, Carmen, welcome. So I've got my trusty cutter here. What I'm going to do is bring you over and I'm going to tilt you down. I'm going to see if I can do this all in. Turning you over, maybe. Just wait. There we go. I'm like, where's my camera button? Because now I'm having to do this on my phone, which is okay. Ooh, hey, did you guys like all the bright colors that I ended up getting done? I posted them. Ooh. Is that a jet spider? I don't know. I didn't like that fuzz. We'll say it's something my cat ate. That was weird. These aren't that old for it to get stuck in there. Must have been a bug my cat kind of fixed for us. Okay. Here we go. Hey, Cam. So I figured these are 12 by 12 and I want to get the absolute most out of this beautiful paper. I could do it two ways. I could cut it in half this way and make half cards and maybe half a 12 by 12 page. See, by lining this up to 6, I could cut it directly down the middle, but 6 is too big for my cards. Like 5.5 is the perfect length for our standard card, right? But I always like to leave a little bit of a mat. So we're going to go to 5 1/4. And I'm going to go straight to 5 1/4 because I want to play with something else. See, when I go to 5 1/4 though, look, it's going to cut off some of those really tall ones. And do I want it to cut it there? I don't know. Let me test it out for you. So instead I am going to go with the 6, cut it directly in half so that I have something that looks like this. But because I'm going to try and keep those tall flowers intact, I'm just going to move it to, where am I moving it to? I'm not even going to measure it for you because it's just at the top. What it is I'm lining the inside of my ruler to the top of that flower. And that's going to take off the white, the excess white from the top of that one flower. Now there's still going to be excess white above some of them and that's okay. I just wanted to try and keep that one intact and turn this around. And then I'm going to cut this to 5 1/4 this way. That way I'm leaving some of the top and it's still going to look awesome. I'm going to have this fun floral strip that I can save for something else, but don't forget the back is also another pretty pattern. So I've cut that to, or sorry, what did I say? 5 1/4. And I'm going to trim that to 4. Now that's going to give me a perfect mat for a card front. And I'm going to do 3 of those. Since I have all of these, you know what? I'm going to do all 3. And then we'll try something else with the other card. Oh, see, I didn't have to cut that. I did. Whoops, and now I got all kinds of frayed ends, but that's okay. I've got fingers and I have my sanding block that I can fix that with. Okay. Now for this card, I'm going to use the color orange as the background because this particular person's favorite color is orange. Maybe I can give you some clues. You guys can guess which stamping friend this is. Their birthday is in April. Their favorite color is orange. And I'll give you some other clues as we go through this. I'm going to keep sanding this. And in fact, I should have a base so that I can just do it right on here. But now, because I've got color on here, this is actually sanding some of the color off, and I really didn't want to for this particular one. Okay, I'm going to put that one aside because maybe I'll do a shabby one. We'll get this one that's a little bit newer. Okay, and I'm just going over here to grab some more paper. Here it is. So something new that's also coming is some beautiful in color shimmer paper. Now I should have, I don't have the berry one. There's one that's out that has berry and some garden green or granny apple green. But this one has the peach, which is awesome. But I think the peach goes just as nice on here with that. So I trimmed this to 4 inches. Which actually I regret a little bit because I'm going to trim this down a little bit more. And the reason being is I want to trim that shimmer paper to 4. I don't want to overcut the shimmer paper. Okay, maybe I can use that other one now and trim off the excess. So we're going to trim that to just under 4 inches. So this will be 3 7/8. It fixes my problem on the side of that other piece. Yay. And then the shimmer paper. Now, if you have this paper, you might have that berry burst color that's in it. Go ahead and use that. I'm going to trim this to 4 inches. And then again to 5 1/4 inches. Okay, so I did not trim or I did not shorten this other piece. So let's do that. I'm going to need to trim off. I want to put this to 5 and 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 5 and 1, 2, 3. Okay, why can't I count? 1, 2, 3. 3/8. No, because this was trimmed to 5 1/4, so I'm just trimming it down by 1/8. So I'm removing 1/8 from there, which would be 5 1/8. Okay, 5 1/8. So now I've got my card base. I have that beautiful shimmer paper. Look how beautiful that is. And then I have this. Okay. But, oh my gosh, I do not want to waste any of this shimmer paper. Look at all that paper that is just going in behind. Don't do that. Do not do that. You're going to want to pull out a die or use your scissors or use your trimmer. I'm going to pull out a die because I want to use it one more time before it disappears. Can anyone guess which one it is I'm searching for? It's been around actually quite a while. And it's going away, sadly. Very sad. This is the Contour Scallop Dies. I am so sad that this is disappearing. So sad. But some of you might have the, the rectangle die that's distressed. I can't think of the name of it. Torn edge rectangle, I think. Anyways, I'm going to just run this through the cut and emboss machine. I know I'm safe because it's going to cut out a nice size and look at all the extra that's left over at the end. So I think that that is fun, and then I can use it for something else. I just need to go grab my cutting plates. They're at the other end. And in fact, let me show you this little tip that we shared during the craft room cleanup this weekend. I may as well share it because it's all in here. This was a tip actually from our stamping friend Sherry. Does anyone remember these little stands? They were part of the boxes, the die cut boxes Stampin' Up! Used to sell way back in the day. So I was just demoing how you can use them as plates to hold, like little holder to hold all your embossing plates. So I'm just going to set that over here. Grab my cut and emboss machine. Now I've got my 2 layers, my main layer, and then the thin layer, which is number 2. And then our cutting plates. This is my well-used, well-loved cutting plate right there. So I'm going to go ahead, mount that, and cut it with one of my other plates. This one's kind of warped and bent, so I'm going to use it, line it up the best I can there, and just give it all a good crank through. Holding onto the machine. There we go. Move it out of the way. And voila. There, now I've got a fun glitter piece that I can use as a label or on a scrapbook page or something fun. Or, you know, maybe I'll cut off all that fun scallop and use it by itself. Now, I'm just gonna put my glue on here and mount this. I'm just gonna use my Tombow glue. Any adhesive really would work. I don't wanna pop it up. I do just wanna put that all there like so. I'm gonna go ahead and mount this. Now it's funny, someone was giving me a hard time because they're like, Trisha, you never craft with glimmer paper. I can definitely say it's been a very long time, so this is a challenge for me. And it's even more so a challenge that I'm using orange. Oh, I see Sue guessed Lorette is who I'm making the card for. Good guess, but that is not who it is. There is actually someone else who loves orange. So I don't know if you can see that, but now there's just a little tiny outline of glimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to put it directly on the glimmer, but I'm going to put it closer to the inside just so that I don't get it gushing out on the outside. And this is just going to help hold it all in. I actually find that dimensional stick to this glimmer paper a whole lot better than anything, but obviously with a lot of pressure or with some pressure and just letting this sit, this will be just fine to hold designer series paper. Is that not so pretty? Oh, I just love that. Deborah, you guessed it. Ding, ding, ding. So if there's anyone else out there that wants me to make them a birthday card on Make It Monday tonight, let me know. And we will definitely get one of these out to you. I owe a lot of you birthday cards. In fact, I have a pile of mail here that I was supposed to get out this weekend, but I had a little birthday party and then I had to go visit my son and I literally haven't been home. So I'm trying to find that happy birthday. Look at, I haven't even used it yet. Happiest of birthdays, it says. So in case you haven't put together one of these stamp sets in a while, you'll actually get to see it in action. I do have a video over on YouTube on how to put these together if you ever need to revert back to find out. Okay, now I am still working on making that accordion fold, that card that I shared with you last week that Deborah had made. And so I'm hoping to have that live on Wednesday over in the Just for the Love of Stamping group, and I'm going to use all this paper as well. Okay, and so I put that on the sticker. I'm lifting the sticker up, and now we're good to go. But the question is, my goodness, what do I want to use as a label for it? There's all these things going away. I don't think I want to use something that's disappearing. Let's see if there's anything in the dies that come as part of this set, because I don't even remember what the dies look like. Oh, I know which die I want to use. So if there's nothing in here, we're going to pull out something else. Okay, so these are all flowers. Look at those dies. I love kind of the double flower, the big flowers, all kinds of little tiny centers, the stem. Okay, so those are great, but they don't have a label in it, but that's okay, because we're going to pull in the Paper Pumpkin Thanks and Beyond dies. Look how cute those are. They've got a nice word that says thanks, which would go nice with this because it's got a lot of, you know, thank you words in it. Or you could just use these ones instead. But I want this label die because I'm wanting to use happiest of birthdays, right? Now, the question is there any other fabulous patterns that might work to stamp on as opposed to white? Now, there is lots of white in there, so I feel like white is the answer. And you know what it is, because all those colors, they're just way too colorful. So we're going to stamp on some white. I have some scraps right here somewhere. Here we go. I need a nice block. So in case you missed it at the beginning, there is going to be a clearance refresh tomorrow, or clearance rack refresh. So go and check that out tomorrow, or late tonight if you just happen to be up at 3 in the morning. Okay, now the question is, what color do I stamp in? For someone who likes orange, I could stamp orange, but usually I would go ahead and stamp it in a darker shade just so that it pops. So let's try some Cajun Craze so that it still sticks with the orange theme. Okay, this one doesn't want to pop like all my other ink pads. Come on, pop, pop. And I'm stamping first and then I'm going to die cut. I could do either. This one's actually kind of a big die cut. It probably, in fact, as I'm saying that, I am going to cut it first. Only because it is so big, there's definitely room. Is anyone's birthday today? Just kind of wondering. I'm hoping I'm not, there's so many birthdays this week. I have not been online at all today. Oh, this needs to be inked. Okay, not a fan of that. Let's turn that over. I'll leave this out to get re-inked later. Let's try some Blackberry Bliss. It's almost black, but then it'll pick up the color from the paper. And I need to water this. Oh, there's a little wet spot. Okay, let's try this one more time. And I'm just gonna look at my stamp to make sure it's nice and covered. It looks pretty inked. And I'm gonna stamp kind of right in the center the best I can. And I'm off a little bit, but that's okay. We can always fix everything, right? There is a way to fix it. And that's going to be with some ribbon. Now, the only problem is I should have, oh no, it works. I folded my card the right way. So now it's like, what ribbon's going to go lovely with the Zinnia collection, but the fact that we have sparkles too. Because it's not just orange. I'm looking at my twine. Nothing is jumping out at me at all. Blackberry Bliss. Do I have white? Is there something white I can color with our blends? Wow, this is interesting that I do not have any new ribbon. I've got the in color ribbon. That just doesn't, that's not looking like what I need it to look like. Okay, I'm going to try something else because now I've got to use what I have. I have some old pale papaya. So I'm going to pull out some old pale papaya along with my pumpkin markers. We're going to turn something that we have into something fabulous. Just trying to find a board here to color on. Here we go. So we're going to put this up here, put this on here. I want a good chunk of ribbon, so this looks nice. And let's just test out first a little bit with our light paper pumpkin, or light pumpkin pie. There we go. And I'm just going to give it a brush. Like so that we can see what it looks like. Do you see how it kind of changes that color? I think that's lovely. I'll do the other end. We'll test it in the dark because sometimes it could be just a little too dark and it's going to be like really bold and stand out, which I think I like the lighter one better, but you guys can decide. So it's like here it really stands out to be really dark orange. It really matches that back, the card base. And then here we have it in light, which really matches the glimmer paper. So I don't know, what do you guys like better? Do you like the dark paper or the dark pumpkin pie or the light pumpkin pie? I love that we can just turn all of our colors or all of our ribbons into whatever color we want just with the magic of blends. So thanks, Deborah. I saw your vote, so we're going with that one. I'm just going to color this all just because it's subtle, but yet it's still, it changes the color of this. I mean, I could have just used this, but it's too light. It doesn't match in my opinion. I don't know. I think I've said this before. Everything's got to be matchy-matchy. This is why I love Stampin' Up. I love them for the color coordination of everything. My paper, my ribbons, my embellishments, my inks. And again, I forget who I shared this with, but when I was in school, I used to match my clothes to the food I ate. I was that pathetic. Okay, so there it is. Now I could leave it big like this, but you guys all know I love kind of that shabbiness. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim this in half to really get some texture. Why not? Plus it'll have like the little phrase from the center. I'm not using it to tie right around the card. I was going to, but I've decided instead I'm going to put this in the back. So what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of almost do a Tammy bow, but not really. I'm just doing a bow like this. I'm not even going to adhere it down anywhere other than on the back of here. I'm going to put some adhesive over top of my bad birthday. Thank goodness there's two sides to every piece of white, right? So here we go. I did it all in one step like that instead of doing it back and forth on the back. I just find that that does work better for me anyways. So I'm going to do that, but then I'm going to go ahead and pull out my dimensionals, my big dimensionals. If I can find my big dimensionals. I think they fell out in behind. Oh, I have like one big one, then I have to use some scraps. Oh, there might be two there. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that down in the middle like so, just to hold it in place. Then I'm going to go ahead and put one there. And then, yeah, I'm going to have to break into my scraps, just rip some off and put it here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over like this, just to take a look to make sure I like it. I might have to play with it or move some of it down a little bit. I could have checked that earlier before I really mounted it, but no. Sometimes you just play. This is where sometimes it's better for you just to put the adhesive directly on the back. But you guys, I always try and find the quick and easy ways. Okay, but look at that's looking ugly because I have way too much ribbon. Okay, just like where is... I need this mat. So your silicone mat is your best friend when you have adhesive or anything sticky that you want to put down and reuse. So I'm putting it there so I can go ahead and reuse it because this isn't working the way I wanted it to. It was supposed to look nicer than this. It's not looking that nice. Okay, just like, let me try it one more time because it really should. There's no reason why that didn't work because it always works every other time. But of course I'm on camera and it doesn't want to work. So I'm making a loop and I'm making a loop like so. And then I'm putting the loop just sideways like this. Yeah, see, that's perfect. I just had to do it again. And I guess it's just to show you that I make all kinds of mistakes too. But I know it does work. Okay. There we go. And I'm just gonna, I still am trying to keep it a little bit to the bottom. This is gonna end up more in the center than anything like this. I'll move this out of the way so you can get a better view. And then you can go ahead and just snip whatever extra you want. Snip, snip, snip. I just want to put that on a nice corner. There, isn't that lovely? But of course we have to add some pretty gems. So now I haven't looked to see if these have made it back. I know that they were coming back. So check when you go online tomorrow to look at, to take a look at the clearance rack. See whether or not these iridescent sequins come up. I'm going to put 2. They're kind of orangey, but they've got some iridescent in it, so they kind of match everything. Isn't that cool? And I'm going to put another one just down here. And you can put 3 or you can put 5, but just remember to do an even number, or sorry, an odd number. And you want it so that your eye's coming to bring it to where the focal point is. Isn't that fun? But we don't have to stop there. It is a birthday card after all, and we can open it up. And I think the delight is also when they open up the card. Now remember, there was that one little strip that we had left over. We can do something fun with it. We can add it in there. I know it's not orange and it's not my friend's favorite color, but it will do. Because who's going to say, ooh? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mount it from the bottom. I'm just going to leave a little piece or a little strip of the orange, and then I'm going to snip it with some other snips, not my ribbon snips. There we go. But we've got so much of it, so like, let's use more. Although I should have done this other piece first. Whoops. Maybe before I add that, I'm gonna, can I take this off? Because there was a step I wanted to do first. Oh, I can. Remember, have your silicone mat, because now that I have adhesive on it, I don't want to wreck it, but it'll sit there and then I can reuse it. Okay, perfect. Back to this. I want to pull these flowers. Like, let's add some of these new flowers to it, to the inside. And then, of course, I know that you're going to want to decorate your envelope. I'm not going to do that online. But don't forget to do that, because that's a big part of this. Peeling this off. You know, when I used to take the bus to work, I literally would pack my stamp sets, whatever new stamp sets I had with me that I received the day before, I would pack them in my bag and I would sit there on the bus and I would assemble them. But now that I don't take the bus anymore, my dear stamp sets, as you can see, don't get assembled in a timely fashion. I have to do them as I use them. How about you guys? Are you put them together as you use them stamper? Or are you an organized, let's get them all together so they're ready to use stamper? Ready to go or on the go? Which stamper are you? That's a good way to put it. Okay, I'm pulling out the paper, or why do I keep calling it paper pumpkin? Pumpkin pie. I've never mistaken pumpkin pie ink for paper pumpkin before. This is just so bizarre. So bizarre. I guess that's just something that comes with 50. Ha ha ha. Okay, so I'm going to just stamp this to the right. It's not perfectly on the card. Okay. Oh, thanks for checking, Sherry. Those gems are still on back order. Hopefully one day. Oh, sad. I didn't get that all inked. But I'm going to write over that, so I'm not too sad. I'll just make sure I write on that. And I'm going to go ahead again, put these little strips just over top for some added cuteness when you open the card. So again, I'm just leaving a little bit of orange in between so we can see that. Okay, there we go. So I got to show you some new products tonight. I got to remind you to use your old ribbons and just color them up. Look at, I got to cut off some of those other colors. Test your ribbon just on the end so that you can see what's going on. So there is card number 1. Yay! I love it. It's orange. It is ready to go. Okay. Next, we have 2 more cards. And in fact, I may as well use the same dies. And we'll just change up the card layout. How about that? Have any of you made cards with your Flowering Zinnias yet? I know some of you said you did order it. Have you had a chance to play? If you have, make sure you go in the Heart Stampers group and post some pictures. We want to see them. I would love to see what you made with the Flowering Zinnias, since that's what we're featuring this week. In fact, I think I might have to do a stamping challenge where we feature each week whatever set it is I'm doing for Make It Monday. Okay, so we have this, but I want to try something different. Let's pull out the Blackberry Bliss. Okay, we're also going to do a Melon Mambo. But we're also going to do a Blackberry Bliss. I have no idea what the measurements are. One would think I do for making this card as often as I have. So I'm going to trim this to 4 1/4 by 11. I want the card to go this way. And then I am wanting to score it 11. This is where the score tool comes in handy. I really should pull that. I am wanting to, I want to have a piece in the center that is, yeah, I got to get the score tool, you guys. Sorry, my brain is just not working good enough to do it this way. And I can hear Kim saying, this is why I use my score tool all the time. So I never run into this. Okay, so what it is I want to make sure that in the center of my card that this is 5 1/2 inches. So, I don't know why I can't think of what this is right now. I want to say, I'm going to say 2 1/4. Let me just move this here. I'll do the math in my head while we're doing this. 2 1/4. 1, 2, 3. 2 3/4. Now this might be wrong. I should have had this mapped out already. No, it's 1 3/4, I think. Here we go. 1 3/4, and then 1 3/4 from this end. There we go. And then that should leave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, that's 6, 7. That's not enough. Okay, so let me move this in 2 3/4. One, 2, 3, 4, and 3/4, 5. Is that right? 1, 2, and 3/4. 2 3/4. Okay, just wait. Don't write this down. Let me test it. I've got 2 pieces of paper. We'll see if this works. My brain is just literally not working. Like, not working at all. Okay, no, that didn't work. Okay, this is the other way you do it when you don't want to think. Let me show you Trisha's version of making this card instead of trying to be like all measury. No. What I'm doing is I'm going to find where center is, and in fact, I can mark that with my tool. So center for this is 5 1/2. All I'm going to do is put a little tiny notch there, just so I know where 5 1/2 is. There we go. And then I'm going to use my score blade to fold to where 1/2 is. There we go, just like that. Fold. And then I'm bending that down with the score blade. Okay, that didn't work because that didn't end up doing it. Okay, I guess I'm wasting the paper to get the measurement. Holy gang. Holy Dinah. This is why you wait to let me make the mistakes. Somewhere I have the measurements. I've made this card a zillion times, which of course I just don't have the measurements near me. I need a little book with them all in. Okay, so we're gonna go back. I think it's 2 3/4. Are you guys laughing? I hope I'm providing some entertainment because I feel like I do a good job at making people laugh with all my mess ups, all my bloopers. Or am I just an idiot? There we go. It is 2 3/4. Yay, I finally got there. I should have just went with my gut feeling. Now I've got a lot of Blackberry Bliss to play with. That's okay. I had another scrap paper. We're going to trim that to 4 3/4. And then what does it say? 2 3/4? 2 3/4 on one end. Turn it around, 2 3/4 on the other end. There we go, 2 3/4. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be a form of a gatefold, as you can tell. We are, oh look it, and then I ended up doing it the wrong way. Okay, that's okay. We're going to do the gatefold this way. So now you see this beautiful piece of paper that we got. Now if I had the black or the berry burst glimmer paper, I would add it around there. But for this one, we're not going to add any shimmer. But I am going to cut this in half. So remember, this was 5 1/4 by 4. And so I'm going to cut this to half of 5 1/4, which is, what's half of 5 1/4? 2 1/2 and then like 1/8, right? 2 1/2 and 1/8, 5 1/4. I'm cutting it. And so now this is going to be the top of my card. This is going to be the bottom of my card. It's using the same paper, but just in a different card format. I guess this is almost called a one-sheet wonder that I'm doing. It's one sheet of paper with a bunch of different cards. I do want to mat this though, and for whatever reason, I'm a little far on this side. So I just want to mat it very good. There we go. Oh, I know why. It's because I didn't measure it to the fold, but it's close enough. Okay. And here we go here. Well, see, yeah, and then this is like off a little bit. I need to cut off 1/4 inch on this one. And I think it's just because my folds didn't turn out perfect. More measuring is going to be required for that. I just took off a sliver, not a whole lot, but same thing, I'm just lining them up here. Now, because I just want to make sure that they are lined up from top to bottom, just so that it looks like a smooth transition, like so. Now, because this is in here, I want to make sure that there's some white inside because it's so dark. And in fact, this is, I'm going to do the same thing, 5 1/4 by 4. Now, there was a card, this is reminding me, remember there's a card that you can lift this up and something pops out? I don't know how to do that. There's a challenge for one of you guys to take this card, have it where the top opens, and when the top opens, something else pulls out. I don't know how that works, but anyways, before I go and stamp that down, I do want to stamp a flower on it because we got to deck up the inside. So we're bringing back the protector mat. Bringing back this. But you know what? I think I'd like to do a little bit of the green as the inside flower this time, and not like a dark color, because we have a white inner. I think it would just be lovely with green. Now I'm going to do a lighter green too. Like, let's do lemon lime twist, because that's what color the leaves are on the outside, which is going to make it look kind of neon-y, I'm afraid. Just have to clean off the orange with my not so wet cleaner. I wish I had a sink right next to me too. I have to go too far down the hallway. Oh, first world problems, hey. Okay, I'm gonna use the same flower, and in fact I'm even gonna put it in the exact same spot. Now I'm lifting it a little bit from the bottom. It's not quite, make sure that that's all. And there is the lemon lime flower. And you know what, why not I'm gonna pull out my blending tool, my blending pen, blender pen. I have not used this in a while, but let's go ahead and just color the leaves. Well, it's still a little inky, so it's not gonna put full color in this by any means, but you're definitely blending it so it's sharing some color blend, like so. You can barely even tell. It did move it. If anything, it just almost made it look a little taupey. And then you can go ahead and color some of the petals, or sorry, the inside of the flower. Now, on these papers, they're kind of like yellow with a little bit of orange. So why not? Let's do that. I'm going to take my yellow ink and I'm just going to tap it. I'm just going to tap just a little bit in the corner on my block to pull the color up with my color lifter. So I'm going to go ahead, grab that color lifter, and I'm just going to go ahead and just put a little bit of color in the centers using that. So not a whole lot, just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of oomph. Now you could do that with the whole piece. I don't want to do it with everything just because the color is on the designer series paper. I am going to add a little bit of lemon lolly though, because I'm not liking how those leaves turned out. And to clean that, remember, you just brush it off until the color's gone. But now I'm just going to go back and just highlight where the lines are in the leaves with the ink. So I'm not using blends this time around, just for something different. I'm pulling out the blender pen. I haven't used it in a while, so it's kind of like challenging me to do that. There, and I just changed it to give it a little bit of more oomph. Okay. And then I can go ahead and mount that on the inside. And I'm just going to center it like so. There you go. And then now it's like, oh, what are we going to use as a closure? Well, let me help you with that. Of course, we have another one of those dies that we used, which is going to be fantastic here. Now, the key is, though, is when I go to mount this, I'm going to want to mount this a little bit lower so that just the tip is kind of showing over here so that it holds it in, but then it's easy to lift up. See what I mean? So I really like where that's sitting, and I'm not going to stamp right on there. I'm going to try something else. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm putting adhesive on the bottom 2/3. Okay, I'm not doing the top third because I don't want it to stick to the top. I want the top to be able to tuck in. Okay, so then I'm just moving it over, and I'm only sticking down here so that up here it'll open up nicely. See? Okay, and then let's play with some of the paper that's in here. So there are, remember I showed you these big flowers? Look at those. What other? I'm sure there was some other flowers in here. Oh yeah, there's also these ones. Those are really, really pretty. Right? I don't know how you would chop that off though. And then there's also these ones that really coordinate. And those particular ones, you can also, can you use that die on them? No, this is made to align with the stamped image. So let's not do the stamped image. Let's pull out one of these. I just need to find my paper snips. Has anyone gone and cut out a whole bunch of these flowers already so that you had them ready to go when you were ready with a card? Sometimes I do that if I've got time or I'm sitting in front of the TV, but I can tell you that isn't this month. Oh. Is there any new shows anyone's watching on Netflix or Prime? I feel like there's nothing really on there, that I've kind of lost my whole interest on watching television. again. So I'm looking for recommendations. Okay. So again, I guess the good thing is I can still do the live from my telephone, but I cannot do the live from my computer into the private group, which is really interesting. But I guess my computer's for business, and I should be able to chat with you guys or go live from anytime, anywhere, right? So maybe that's the purpose, or maybe it's just a glitch that they're going to fix. Maybe they're waiting to see how many people actually complain about it, but it is hard if you want to have a second camera hooked up. Kim can attest to that, as she does our make and takes with our group and has to use her phone for one and has her camera for the, for the other side. And sometimes it can be harder, else you're like hooking up two devices, like an iPad and your phone. But at least for Make It Mondays, we know this still works for us, right? I can come on, I can do this. And in fact, it gives me the option to invite one or two of you on. Does anyone want to test it out with me? Who could I invite on this live with me right now? Is there any brave souls out there willing to try it? Okay. Oh, Dexter. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't get into that back in the day. I don't know if I could start that now, but are you enjoying it? Okay, so this is like a funny flower with those leaves that are kind of wild. I feel like that flower is too much with the other flowers in the background, like too much. So that one isn't going to work for me. We tried. I guess I'm going to have to stamp a flower, or maybe even cut out one of these flowers. Ooh, and house. Someone's watching house. Okay. Yeah, no, I can't cut that out either. Okay, stamping it is. Let's stamp. Oh, and we'll stamp in Blackberry Bliss. We'll just stamp the flower so that it's a solid flower. And then, oh, you guys, I'm going to have to go here right away. Oh, look at that. I pulled the wrong one. These lovely female issues are still driving me nuts. And today is a bad, bad day. Okay, here we go. Flower on. So let's try on some scrap, some Blackberry Bliss. I need to set that aside. We do not want anything to stick to that. And here's a piece of white cardstock. Oh, I wonder if we should be stamping on cardstock instead of white. I think that's what I need to do. Ooh, but look how pretty that looks. But I think I need to bring in solid colors. What do you guys think? What color is this? Is this fresh freesia? Does anyone think that that's fresh freesia? I have to look on the back of the zinnias to see what it is. Highland Heather, actually. Okay, so let's grab some Highland Heather. I gotta get through this. I got one more card idea for you that I want to show. Breathe. Make sure I don't pass out. Okay, here we go. Highland Heather, but you know what? I'm still going to stamp this in the dark green. Not with Highland Heather. We are still stamping with Blackberry Bliss. There we go. Except you know what? I did not fully color that or fully do that. So I'm going to turn that over. Let's try that again. I'm using the darker ink on top of a lighter cardstock, which I just love the look of. Just make sure I get equal pressure, but not rocking the stamp. There we go, that turned out. And then same thing, I want some lemon lolly paper. Here's some here. And I want to stamp. Let's stamp in, do we want Granny Apple Green? I'm going to stamp in Old Olive. Let's stamp in Old Olive, and I'm going to stamp the leaves that go with that stamp. Was there any brave souls that wanted to come up? Put brave, put I'm brave. Yeah, that show can be a bit gory, can't it? But anyways, good on you. It'll just strengthen your mind, help prepare you for, you know, zombie days. If it ever comes to life. It's not, but, you know, if it did, you'd be ready. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I think that's cute. So I'm just going to use the dies that came with the kit to cut out the flower and cut out the leaves. I'm not going to use the embossing folder for these projects. These are just dies and stamps. Now, of course, the fun is trying to align your stamp to the shape, but, you know, fortunately, there's some pretty defined edges on this stamp, so it's pretty easy to line up. Although, as I say that, I'm like still moving it around. There we go. Maybe? Sure. So I am just behind the scenes here, running it through the cut and emboss machine. We'll still turn this into a happy birthday card using the same set. This paper would be lovely to make some gift bags too, don't you think? I think so. Now, ideally, I should throw the mini machine up there to run for you guys, but I'm like, the big machine's right here. I'll just crank it. I'm hoping almost all of you guys have a cut and emboss machine. I'm pretty sure you all do. If you don't, I'll be shocked. Okay. So here we go, and look at that lovely leaf. Oh my gosh, those colors look so great together, do they not? That is much, much better. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive here because I do want to capture that flower there. I do want to try and lift it up, but before I go ahead and mount that, which I'm going to pop up, and I'm going to have to use my scraps because I don't seem to have, oh, look at that, there's one full one, but I need more than one. That's the only problem. I like to put one on the, where the leaf attaches to that, just that way it holds it into place just in case. And then I think I saw a need for one up there. So it was like that. And you can tell by where it sits, it's leaning down there. So I'm going to need to put one over here on this side as well. So we'll just rip off another piece, add it there. And now I'm good to go. But before I nail it down, put it down, I do want to just set it into place. I want to see what I'm going to do with that birthday word. So I need to wash it because it still has the blackberry twist on it. Okay. Stamp the flower off, then add the cut out with thanks. Oh, that'd be cute. Yeah, that would be cute, Kim. Except I want to do all birthday cards. Because I have a lot of birthday cards I need to send out. But I am going to try something different with this happiest of birthdays. So we may as well go ahead and stamp it. I'm going to stamp it in the same Blackberry Bliss. Why not? Let's see how this works. I'm going to try it. I've got something in my mind. I don't know if it's going to work. So let's test it and see. Here's some scraps. Happiest of birthdays. Here we are. Boom. Then I am going to cut these because I want them in separate words. I'm going to cut it like this and then cut it like this. I want to get this as straight can be. Well, maybe I don't want it straight though, actually, because they've got all the curves. So for birthday, I want to like cut around all the little curves here. So we're going to do that. Curve around the Y. Get it back up around the S. And do the same thing around the top. Okay, normally we would just stop here as part of this fun little fussy cutting. I say fun because I know there's people on here who think it's fun. This is actually hurting my brain right now. But I know it needs to be done because I'm trying to show another technique for you. Okay. Birthdays. And I'm just going to trim this, trim this, trim this, and then trim this. Okay, so we've got happiest of birthdays trimmed up. Still going to use that full saying because I like it, but why not pull in some of the scraps from the other pieces we were using, right? So let's test this out. I want to put birthdays on some Highland Heather, so it goes with my flower cutout. Now I'm just going to snip off a piece here just so it's more manageable. And I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm leaving a little mat so that it looks like it's all this. Now you've seen this, we've done this lots with black. Usually it's black paper that I'm doing this with. So this is a first, I'm doing this with some color just to see if it works and it matches with all the color. Because again, everything has to coordinate. Okay. Voila. Happiest of birthdays. But the question is, do I want to leave happiest by itself or do I want to add like green behind it? I think I need to add some green. Now, is that going to work? Is that going to be weird? I don't know, but let's find out. Okay. There we go. And again, I'm just putting it right to the, I'm squaring it to the top in the corner so that I only have to make 2 snips. Like so. And then of course we'll do of. Okay, the other one will be quicker. More quicker. Okay. That one's a little crooked. Okay, if you haven't signed up for May Bingo yet, don't forget that is happening May 11th, I think it is. And it's the Saturday. The stamp set of the month is the Layering Beauty, the Beautiful Roses. Okay, so the other thing is, remember I put all those adhesives, but they can't stick to the top. Otherwise the card won't open. They can only stick down here, which means I need to remove this big one from the top because that is not going to work for us. We need it to open. So I'm going to make sure that that's not sticking there, that it's only sticking on there. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and mount these, but I'm going to mount them flat. They're not going to be sticking up. But we'll put that like this. Happiest of, oh, I love this so much. happiest of, and then birthdays we're gonna pop up because we can. And in fact, I'm gonna use little strips of the strip adhesives because they're a little bit thicker. They will really pop. Okay, so here we go. Happy as of birthdays, which is lovely, except now a couple of things. One, the still doesn't like really close tight because there's nothing really holding it into place. Oh, look at, okay. So you could slightly leave a little piece of adhesive so that it does stick and hold into place. Or you can tie some ribbon or twine that coordinates with it, aka some lemon lime twist, or color some other ribbon and twine so that it might work. The Zany Zoo collection, I think this is still in the main catalog until the end of the month. There's this pretty ribbon. Look how pretty that is. That you could wrap around, but then someone's going to have to untie it to open it up. That might be just a little too tight. So it might actually be a good tip just to leave a little bit, and then that'll help keep it closed like so. Okay. You have another card done. And last but not least, I'm still going to have to make some cards with that other half, but for tonight's show, I wanted to do a card. Actually, and maybe I still will, but I'm going to cut my lemon and lime cardstock to, can I use this to cover it up? Sometimes, you know, you have some pieces and I want to like, no, that won't work. I actually need I need a good piece. So lemon lime twist. Now I haven't made one of these cards in a couple of Christmases though, but this is a standard Christmas card that I usually make. But I got one I've got one from one of our favorite stamping friends that I wanted to recreate to show you what it would look like with this collection, and then I'll show you the one she made me because it was super cute. So I am just cutting a card base, so 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then I'm going ahead and I'm mounting this paper. So yes, sadly, I am actually covering up those pretty flowers that some of you might love. But we are going to use the lemon lime twist. There we go, just like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and, sorry, I got to just measure my card piece. What's left over here is 5.5 by 4 1/4, and I'm going to fold that in half. So it's going to be 2 1/8. Oh shoot, I measured that wrong. No, the piece that I need to cut is piece that I need to cut is 4.5 by 4.5 by 6.5. 4.5 by 6.5, and then scored in half. Okay, so I'm cutting this to 6.5. It's cut to 4.5 the other direction, or sorry, 4 1/4. 4 1/4, because we need to use it for paper. So it's going to be 3 1/4 is where it's scored at. Make sense? Okay, so it's 6.5 by 4 1/4, scored at 3 1/4. So now I am just making a fun little card front that's going to end up sitting right here. But we want to turn that into a beautiful gift card holder. And this is where we're going to have to dig into our scraps because I don't want to waste that other part of that paper. So I guess there goes our theory of trying to use a one-sheet wonder. because I don't want to cut up that paper. But I'm sure, oh, look it, I have some of that paper though in scraps. Huh, look at that. Kim, this is where I might be making your thanks, but I really want birthday cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this. This was scored to 3 1/4, so I'm gonna cut this to 3. Look at that, 3 cards tonight. What is going on? So I'm gonna go ahead and mount that. And then on the inside, we are going to also mount that other piece that's left over, because, why not? Now I'm going to take a punch or a die that I might have. I'm really loving this hexagon die. I don't know why, but I just, or punch, not die. Punch. So I'm going to go ahead and just try and center this the best I can. Push it down and punch out. So look at, I've got a lovely little punch out to put a gift card in. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this, except if remember, you want to leave room for the card to go in and out. Therefore, stick to the sides as close as possible. Whoops, not the top, just the sides. The bottom and the sides. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and mount it like so. I'm just going to give it a second to dry so that I can tuck the card in. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and use some tear and tape to mount this to the card base. And of course, I know you crafty souls, you're going to go ahead and stamp and die cut and put all kinds of other beautiful flowers on it. So again, when you go to recreate this, please post it in the Heart Stampers group so we can see it. Now, I'm probably overdoing it, but you know what? This is going to get opened and closed, and someone's going to tuck a gift card in and out. So we just want to make sure it is sturdy. Plus, you can always buy more tear and tape. Okay. There we go. Last one. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it. And yes, this is where that thanks is going to look so lovely. But we're going to do the whole happiest of birthdays again, because I absolutely love it. But I wonder, you know, we should emboss it and make it like super cool, but I really need to go sit down. So what color do you think is appropriate for this? Do we do Mossy Meadow or what? Ooh, I've got a good gift card, but it's upstairs. I could tuck in there for this. We'll just put this one in for now, see if it fits. I'll have to find a perfect one that goes with this. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Look how pretty that fits. Now I could have even made this a little bigger, but I love that we got to use the scraps, and then it allows you to use other stamps or put that on the inside. So again, we're going to use Happiest of Birthdays on the front, but I feel this needs to be more pink. Does anyone think this needs to be more pink? Let's do some pinky. We'll do Melon Mambo. And maybe this almost needs like a shadow stamping with Mellow Moss and Melon Mambo. No, we'll leave it at this. But we can add some greenery, because don't forget, in the stamp set, there are some fun leaves. So let's just bring that back. We're gonna pull out the lemon lime twist. And here we go. Okay, so yeah, I am gonna have to rethink how these challenges are gonna, the giveaways are gonna happen, because now we don't have the giveaway tool to help us. So that might have to pull into the Just for the Love of Stamping Facebook group. I'm gonna have to go live there more. But I think we could have some stamping challenges so that you recreate some of these cards that I make. And it doesn't have to be all of them, maybe just one. Is this too much if I do this all the way around? It's too late. We've done it. We have done it. To add some texture, give it a little bit of color. Of course, we're gonna pop it up. I am gonna go ahead and use these strips because they're right in front of me. They do pop things up a little bit higher. I just need two, I don't need a whole lot. But then, of course, we need some gems. And then something to tie it down, because that is, maybe here I do need that ribbon. It just needs a little extra element. You could use some gold, or you know what? I'm gonna use some twine. I think some natural twine is nice every now and then. It doesn't always have to be color. So I'm gonna go ahead and just leave some twine over here, but wrap it around. I'm gonna wrap it around twice. And in fact, see, I should have done this before I mounted, but I'm gonna just tuck this through, if it'll go. I'm gonna thread this through the center of this so that at least it holds on. When someone unties it, it shouldn't fall off because it'll stick in here, assuming that I get to push out the other side. Sometimes, you know, it just needs a little bit of help with our tool. Come on. Okay, so is there anyone out there willing to take a challenge to make one of these 3 cards? You have all week to post it. Doesn't have to go up till Monday. Okay, there we go. Look at beautiful. And I'll just trim, and then we'll have enough for a nice little bow. And it's just something to help hold it close so that that gift card doesn't fall out. I mean, it shouldn't. It's pretty tight, but you just never know, right? Just gonna tie it in a knot. Plus, this twine isn't that expensive, so if it gets lost or thrown in the garbage, you won't be sad. But if it was like pretty satin ribbon, that might be a whole different ball game if whoever you give this to just happens to lose it. There, and it can be extra long, just to have some of those extra little pieces. And then, of course, we'll add some more of those sticky gems. Okay, so that is it. Here's the gift card holder. Here's the fun fold card. And then this card. 3 completely different cards, all with the same paper, giving you a completely different look. And let me show you the fun birthday card that Brenda gave me. That also included this fun little gift card using some different paper and colors, but it's super fun, right? But a good way to use up your paper and show off some of that online exclusive. If you don't have it now, you might want it after making these cards. But stay tuned, you'll see more because I'll be playing with this all week. And like I said, I'm going to challenge you to try and make one of the cards. You can use different paper. It doesn't have to be the same. Obviously, if you do have the Flowering Zinnias, I'd love to see your take on it. Doesn't have to be exact, but just pick one of the folds and show us what you got. Again, just post them directly in the Heart Stampers group. Although if they're all scattered everywhere, it's too hard for me to find who did what to give a door prize. So how can we do this? Maybe someone can start us off. Maybe the first person, whoever is the first to post their card in the group, maybe they could say, here's my card. Everyone else, post your cards in the comment below. Then that way they're all retained to one spot so that it's easy for me to give away, do a giveaway. But if they're all scattered, I might miss someone. Let's try that this round. We'll see how that works. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Here, I'll turn you around so I can at least say goodbye. It was definitely interesting to try and figure out how to make this work without doing that whole streaming thing and all that other fun stuff, but we got her done. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Hope you enjoyed the projects, and I'll get them posted, if not tomorrow, the day after. And I would love to see your creations, everyone. We'll see you soon. Have a great week. Bye for now.